Welcome, welcome. Today I am going to show you how to access Web of Science through the Auburn University Library's website, and then a little bit about how to use Web of Science to search for relevant papers in your field. So this should be pretty quick. The very first thing that we do once we're at auburn.edu is go to Academics, and we click Libraries. So, if you want to, you can very easily just put a search term in here, but it won't take you to Web of Science. It will just give you everything related to that search term. So I don't usually use this. What I will normally do is I'll click where it says databases here, and then it will give you all of your databases by title. If you're ever doing like non-science research, you can click this little About button and it'll tell you a little bit about what that database is. Ooh, sorry. I scrolled way too fast there. So that's pretty cool, but this is for Web of Science, so we're going to scroll down to W. Web of Science is not the only database that you can use to find scientific articles by any means. Oh, I should say you can also just click W here, and then it'll take you right to Web of Science. But I like Web of Science because there's a lot of ways you can search, and there's just a lot of flexibility and specificity. So we're gonna log in. Okay, so this is what the interface looks like when you're going through the Auburn libraries. There are other ways to access Web of Science, not through the library system, but I frankly don't know what that is. So we have all sorts of stuff that we can put here. Whatever you want, all fields, topic, title, what have you. I'm going to keep it at all fields. As you can see, you can add rows, you can remove rows. Let's see. So I'm just going to keep going with ecdysone. And then you can add a row. I want Drosophila, melanogaster. And that's really all that I want. I want a really broad search to start with. So I'm going to click search. And it's going to give me a whole bunch of stuff. So here's our first hit. They've got all sorts of stuff you can click on the side to filter by. You definitely want papers probably within the last 5 years, maybe last 7 for our type of research. You can filter out so that you only want articles and review articles. The rest of these I don't think are going to be very helpful for us. So now we have, I actually don't think we refined our results. It looks like the same number as it was before. Here. Let's do the past 5 years and click refine. There we go. Now we're down to 155. That's definitely a more manageable search number. Ecdysone quantification from whole body samples of Drosophila melanogaster larvae. Okay, this might be helpful. You could click on it, and it should give you the abstract. So now we can scan and see what it's about. We're looking for gene lists, so we're going to want to read the abstract and say if they say anything about RNA-seq or ChIP-seq or any type of sequencing that will give us a gene list. I'm not going to do that here because this video would take forever, but that is one thing I recommend you to do. If you like it, if you're like, hey, I want to read this article, there's a bunch of different ways you can get it. It tells you right here it's a free full text, so we already know that if the publisher is putting it out there for free, we're going to have no problem accessing it. So we could click this, or we can click this. I chose that one because they're not always free to read. So I do want to show you how to use the free text finder. So this, again, will tell you you can read the whole thing at the publisher's site. If there wasn't anything here, you could try these options. Okay. Now, Web of Science is way more cool and complicated than I give it credit for. There's a lot of stuff that someone has taught me to use and I have since forgotten. So for example, let's say I'm scrolling through and I'm like, I like this paper and, oh, regulation of ecdysone. That's actually probably going to be very helpful because regulation, gene network, kind of the same thing. This doesn't look interesting to me just by reading the title. This one talks about juvenile hormone. I'll pretend I'm interested in this one. Modes of transcriptional regulation of ecdysone response. That sounds interesting. Okay, so point being, you can click all of these things and you can download them all at once. Or like add them to some sort of list. How do I do that? Add to marked list. There we go. So if you're signed in, you can save these things to a marked list and then you can download them all at once. Sorry, we got interrupted. So let's say I'm still not happy with these current results. I can go further and I can say within these results, I want something that says RNA-seq. So now we've narrowed it down even more. I'd be interested to see like where the RNA-seq comes in for some of these. Aha. This might be helpful. RNA-seq analysis demonstrates that E93 regulates genes involved in development and morphogenesis in the salivary glands. So let's see. E93 is required to direct the proper timing of ecdysone-regulated gene expression. So E93 apparently interacts with ecdysone in some way, and this is the exact kind of thing that we are trying to figure out by doing our literature search. So that is very exciting. All right, well, I have managed to talk at you for 8 minutes now, so I think that's probably good enough. As always, if you guys have any questions, email me. Thanks for your time.